This
session.
conference will now be recorded.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just I was about to ask you to record the session. Thanks.
Yeah, now it's recording. So welcome guys, welcome, bienvenue à tous. Aujourd'hui, il est 24 juillet 2020 et aujourd'hui, je vais commencer. I am going to start the centrifugal form. Je vais commencer l'adjectif possessif, l'adjectif démonstratif et l'adjectif interrogatif. Savadir, that means Savadir. I will be taking adjective possessive, adjective demonstrative, and adjective interrogative today. That is 24th of July 2020. Moving forward, all these sessions will be recorded for your reference. So you can always check. I'll send across the link in the chat box in the WhatsApp section. But in case I don't, this will be uploaded on the same channel that the link I've sent you. You can always go back and based on the date, the sessions will be recorded. Thank you. Okay, so just to revise, yesterday we saw the first group, that's the premier group of verbs which are ending with er. So in French, you say le premier groupe qui termine avec er, that is, which ends with er. Slowly and steadily, I will try to take all of my conversation in French. So this is just the beginning. From today, it will be kind of some words here and there will be in French. And then I will also try to give you the definition or the translation in French. But in case I don't, just stop me then and there, and then you can ask me. Okay. So welcome, Megha. We were just discussing the present tense. What we did yesterday, it's we to conjugate all the er ending verbs, the verbs, les verbs qui termine, which end avec er, that is, le verbe qui termine avec er, the verbs which terminate or end with er. The premier group, say, for example, the er verb. Er verb, for example, for er verb, we have the verb parler. Parler is to speak. Et pour le première personne en singulier, that is, for the first person singular, ça veut dire, that is, or that is called, je parle, I speak. Pour le deuxième person en singulier, that is for second person singular, ça veut dire tu parles avec un A and S. Pour le troisième person en singulier masculine, ça veut dire il, il parle. Et pour le féminin, ça veut dire elle parle. Et pour le premier person en pluriel, nous, ça veut dire nous parlons. Et pour le deuxième person en pluriel, ça veut dire vous, s'appelle vous parlez avec un E et Z. Et à la dernière, at the last, il s'appelle pour le troisième person en pluriel, ils et elles, ça veut dire ils parlons ou elles parlons. I hope the pronunciation, everything was good. No problem, Mega. You need not be sorry. It's morning time, and you can always check the sessions if you miss. Okay, so I hope the transition is going smooth into French. If you don't understand anything, you can always stop me, and then I'll repeat it. So the more you expose yourself to French, it will be easy for you. In the initial days, it will be tough. It will be challenging because your ears are not trained to it. But when I use that on regular basis, on all the occasions, and you don't have any choice just to listen and try to understand, then you will be training yourself. Okay. So pour le deuxième un autre chose pour un négatif or négative. Pour les premières personnes en singulier, je ne parle pas. Pour les deuxième personnes en singulier, c'est tu ne parles pas. Pour les troisième personnes en singulier, c'est il ne parle pas. Pour les premières personnes en pluriel, nous ne parlons pas. Pour les deuxième personnes en pluriel, c'est vous ne parlez pas. Et pour les troisième personnes en pluriel, ils et elles, il est ils ne parlons pas, elles ne parlons pas. Vous comprenez bien? Vous is you. I'm using the formal you. Vous comprendre. It's a ER ending word. Vous comprenez bien is you understand it well, or you are, it's a question. So you understand it well is are you understanding it? The answer should be in oui or no. Oui is yes, no is a no. So vous comprenez bien le sujet is you're understanding well the subject. Pouvez-vous me répondre en français? It's pouvez-vous me répondre en français? Can you reply in French? Pouvez-vous? Can you? You can is vous pouvez, but if you reverse it, it becomes pouvez-vous. Répondez is to respond en français. Yeah, sorry, Megha, I'll just quickly brief you. I was trying to read out the negative parts in the negative sentences in French. And I did that, and then the question was, are you understanding it well? Or vous comprenez bien is, do you understand it well? And moving forward, you have to reply with yes or no. Yes is oui, OUI. No is no. And the next question is, pouvez-vous répondre en français is, can you? Vous pouvez, if you reverse that, the first two letters, it becomes you can. When I reverse the order, it becomes pouvez-vous, that is, can you? Répondez is to reply in French. Thank you. Okay. So there is a list of ER verbs, and then there is a list of IR ending verbs. Today we'll not look into IR because that will be a little confusing. So we'll just go ahead and do the adjectives part. Did we do this? No. Okay, we didn't do this. We'll just do the adjective possessive today, and then we'll come back and do interrogative, or we will start with interrogative and then we'll get into adjective possessive. So adjectives, the interrogatives are the words which are used when you pose a question. So these are all the adjective interrogatives that you would be using on day-to-day basis. Here, où is where. Où is where. The question here is où est la bibliothèque? The bibliothèque is a library. Où est la bibliothèque? It is masculine, feminine here. That's why it is la, because it is ending with e. The question is, where is the library? Quand is when. Quand as-tu reçu la lettre? When did you receive? It's in past tense. Don't worry about that. You will see that in the coming days. So just remember this. When have you received the letter? Quand as-tu reçu la lettre? Quand is when, because we are talking about date. So we will say quand. Quand, when. Next one is comment. Comment, like a comma. Comment. It is how. The question here is comment voyage-t-elle aux États-Unis? Comment voyage-t-elle is comment is how. Elle voyage is she travels. And when you do it in the reverse form, it becomes is she traveling? Aux États-Unis is to the United States. So when is she traveling to the United States? Comment voyage-t-elle aux États-Unis? Comment voyage-t-elle États-Unis? Aux États-Unis. Comment is how. Okay. Pourquoi is why. Pourquoi?
Rahul, after Y is Y, T is in dash, TLA.
There are we didn't do that part. It's there is a collision of vowel. That's why we add an extra T. I think we did discuss this in one of the previous sessions. Let me just check.
That was AUX, no, about these words, state, countries. I think
No,
so. Not about
just a,
T. No, no.
just a second. Hold on.
See, this one last, right?
Yeah. Did we discuss this? No.
No, we are not discussing.
Okay. Okay. So here, one thing we didn't discuss is the our interrogative form. We did discuss the interrogative form. Je suis. When you reverse the order, it becomes suis-je. Tu a becomes a-tu. Il a becomes a-til. La becomes a-tel. And the same happens for our. Ja is you reverse the form, it becomes aj. Tu a becomes a-tu. Il a becomes a-il. But since there is a collision of vowels here only for these two places, we have an exception, that is we use T in between. T in between. So for any of these two sentences, when you're doing the reverse, that is an interrogative form, you add an extra T. Only for these two, that is for third person singular masculine and third person singular feminine. Now the next one, nous avons becomes avons-nous. Vous avez becomes avez-vous. Ils ont becomes ont-ils. Elles ont becomes ont-elles. The reason we put a dash is because we try to combine these two words and read it together. So, ai, as-tu, avons-nous, avez-vous, ont-ils, on tel. Now, if you closely observe here for the last one, ont il and ont el, I am actually pronouncing the T here. So it's ont il, ont el. The same for first and the second person. With there, you don't find the difference. And suppose here it is nous avons, nous avons. Here it is avons nous. It's not prominent here, but here it is. You can observe that clearly. Until, until. That means the T is coming with the in the pronunciation, that is until and until. Okay, so the same, the rule is same, basically same for et and our. You just have to reverse uh, the the present conjugation. The same for our, but the only difference here is for the third person singular, both for masculine and feminine. You add an extra T in between. Okay. Yeah. So that's why we have an extra T here. The verb voyage is also ER ending verb. So we will try to add this in the group as well. So VOYAGER, voyage is to travel. So if you are writing the list of verbs, list of vocabulary that I told you in the beginning, if you are doing it, quickly type in yes. If you're not doing it, type no. Yeah, okay. So just add these words in that. So when you're going through the slides, you will get a lot of words. Bibliothèque is one, and then la lettre is a letter with the RE in the reverse. Megha, I strongly recommend you. What happens is it's a consistent thing, but that really helps you at the end. So when you sit down and try to revise things, these words will be really handy. And suppose you are doing a composition or you are trying to speak words, then you might miss out on the vocabulary. So you can quickly put these papers next to you and you can refer this. Okay, try doing that. I think I showed you guys how I make is I split the page into two and I write the English form and the French form, or the French form and the English form. I just follow one of them. So I write the French and then the English translation to that. And I keep on adding them. And then like that, I've filled more than like around 12 or 13 pages. One page would roughly will carry about on each side there will be 30, 30, 60, 120 words on each page. Like that, I have got a list of 12, like a set of 12 papers where I, on regular days or the last papers that I make, I read them or just put it on the table so that I keep looking at them and then I revise it for a day or two and then I cover uh, the the French part and then try to get the meaning from English to the French and then do the vice versa. And then I'll try to improve. That really helps me improve my vocab. So I strongly recommend you do that. So yeah, so the voyage verb here is a ER ending verb. And if you do a reverse form, you have a collision of T and a T here. Then that only happens for il and L. That's why we have voyage tel aux États-Unis. Comment is how. Comment is how. Quand. Quand is yeah. Who is where. Comment is when. Quand is when. Comment is how. Pourquoi. Pourquoi is why. Pourquoi est-il pleure? Why is he crying? Pleur is to cry. It's a verb, crying. It is again in the past continuous form, and we'll see that later on. So don't stress much on this. Just look at the verb and the meaning of this. Pourquoi is why. Combien is how much? Combien coûte-t-il? Here also they're using the verb T here in between. Combien coûte-t-il? That is how much does it cost? It can also be referred to as il. Here il is also referring to he, if you observe.
Rahul, your voice is breaking.
Okay, just a second. Okay, now is it clear?
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So pourquoi is why. Comment is how. Comment is how. Combien is how much. So when you say combien coûte-t-il, coûte-t-il is does it cost. So the answer will be il coûte. And suppose it's it is 500 rupees. So the answer, can you type that in the chat box? The question is combien coûte-t-il, that is how much does it cost, and the answer is in English it is it cost 500 rupees. So can you write that in French? It cost 500. 500 will be in words, of course. 500 rupees. Rupees can be in symbols. So when the question is combien coûte-t-il, the answer would be il coûte dash rupees. Can you quickly type in? These are all simple questions that now I think by the end of this class you should be able to answer. So now we are trying to make a sentence. Nidhi, you have written 500 it cost. So the answer would be it cost 500. Mega, why there is an apostrophe? And Asha, why there is a T there? Yeah, Nidhi, that's perfect. Il coûte 500. That is, it cost 500. No need to put a dash now because it's not a reverse form. Only in the reverse form you put a dash. So it's, yeah, perfect. Amreen is perfect without the dash. Aisha, you were perfect, but the spacing was an issue. I think you typed in a little too fast, so you kind of missed. So it is il coûte without the T. Nidhi, you're perfect. And Amreen, the same. It's perfect, just that you need not put the dash again back. It is only when you reverse the order you put a dash. That is just to indicate that the pronunciation is together. And Mega, your this everything is, yeah. 100, 500. Okay, so it's 500. It is 500. 500. I'll just quickly type in. It is 500. 500. Okay, so the next one, moving back to the topic, it's combien de is how many. So the question here is combien d'enfants avez-vous? That is, how many children do you have? Combien d'enfants? D'enfants is I will come back to that point. Of let me do that here right away. Here it is D and enfant, but the off form changes if it's starting with a vowel. So that is why it is combien d'enfants. Of combien de is how many of. Combien de, the word here combien de is
Sorry, can
how
you
many.
repeat it, Rahul?
Rahul, this section is pending, no? You told
Yes,
you will
yes,
explain
yes.
because we are not getting meaning why DE is joined with the infants. You
Yeah,
told no of
yes,
the and
that is different. That is the reduction, contraction of articles. This is something different. I'll repeat it. Hold on. So the combien the here is of. So even in English, when you're using certain verbs or interrogative form, you use how many of those or how many. So here always this combien word comes with a of here. So that means it's combien de, that is how many of children do you have, or how many of fruits do you have, how many of books you do you have. So combien de combined together is that means in English how many is combien de. And when you reply, put a question. Enfants are children. Enfants are children. So here it is combien de enfants, but since they're starting with a vowel, it becomes apostrophe. So it's combien de enfants avez-vous? That is how many children have you? Vous avez is you have, but when you reverse that, it becomes have you. So the question here is how many children? In English it is do you have, but in like the proper translation it will be combien de enfants, that is how many of children have you. But you never do a literal translation when you're translating from English to French. So the quicker you understand this, the better it is. Combien de enfants avez-vous is how many children do you have or have you, but generally you don't use the have you thing here. You would say combien de enfants avez-vous. Okay. Mega, yeah, let's do one thing. Can you reply to this question? Combien de enfants avez-vous? Can you quickly reply to this question? So generally when I ask you a question, how many children do you have? In English, your answer would be, okay. Yeah, Amrin, you are right. Perfect. When I say the question is in how many children do you have? The answer will not be again you have two children or one children and so on. Then the question will change to I have. So this is what you have to be careful. Yeah. And Mega, the answer which you gave is you have first child. Premier is first. Amrin, you're right. J'ai a, that is I have un enfant. Un enfant, not the enfant. It is will be un.
AI have becomes AI, is it?
J'ai a is I have. J'ai a is I have. It will be j'ai a, that is one enfant. It will be a single child. If I have two, I would say j'ai a deux enfants. Or if I have three, I would say j'ai a trois enfants. That is, I have one child, I have two children, I have three children. That's enfant. 1, 2,
Why
and
are
3.
you using the DE
Where?
before infants?
Sorry, yeah, it's I have two children.
Yeah, no,
I made
D
a mistake.
apostrophe
Yeah, yeah.
infants, right? So why are we using
No, it's I just copy pasted that thing. I have two children and I have three children. I was trying to copy paste and then they also got copied. Yeah. So it's I have two children, I have three children. Okay. So yeah. And now the next one is what. What is a very controversial what here.
Rahul, one more dot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the previous thing, like it says how many.
Hmm.
Like the D is off, right? But in the example, it says combien de infants. Then in English, we don't say how many of
How many of
children you
children
have. Right?
have you? Yeah.
No, we don't say like that, right? In
You
English.
don't say it, but in French, if you that's why I said you don't do the literal translation. Just try to get
Oh,
the overall meaning. So here combien they together is called how many, and always combien, if it is just the combien, it is how much. And when you say combien the, it is always talking of numbers, that is how many of. This is combien means it is how much, but when you're seeing combien de is how many of. So
okay.
it's one word now. Combien de is how many. When you say how many,
Got it.
it's always you're talking or asking in terms of numbers. How many houses do you have? How many cars do you have? How many wives do you have? How many children do you have? How many brothers do you have? So it's always combien de, combien de, combien de. When I say how much does the house cost, I would not say combien de, how many of house cost. It would say combien coûte-t-il, that is how much does it cost. So combien, if it's coming alone, it will be how much, but when you're adding a d to it, that becomes combien de, that is how much of. That literally means how many. We are talking of numbers here. Combien de. Suppose you have this, leave this thing aside, and you have a question, how many. So generally the answers will be, you're talking about numbers. How many fathers do you have? How many mothers do you have? How many brothers do you have? How many pens do you have? How many books do you have? It is always talking about money, but you will never say how many. Uh, Mega, yes, yeah. How many? I'll come back to that. How many is always talking about numbers. Coming to the question, Mega's question, that is, if the child is masculine or feminine. If we are saying, if I would say, I don't want to specify, I would say I have one child, two child, three child. But when I want to specify, I would say I have one boy and two girls. So then the answer would be j'ai a, that is I have a garçon et un fille, or I have deux garçons, or I would say j'ai a deux filles. I have two girls, or I have one girl, one boy. If I want to specify in detail that I have a boy and a girl, so I would say j'ai un garçon et un fille. Et j'ai deux garçons, I have two boys, or I would say I have 2 girls. Okay. Megha, you for child you don't use and because child is a neutral gender. But when I say a boy and a girl, here if you see closely, I've used and with a e. So j'ai un garçon is I have one boy, that's masculine, and then a fille which is feminine. So un and une are used here appropriately. And when I say I have 2 boys, j'ai deux garçons, and j'ai deux filles, that is I have 2 girls. Okay. No, but I am confused because in French we have either masculine or feminine. Yeah. For like when you even in English when you say child, are you being specific for a boy or a girl? No. The same for French. When you say enfant is a child, that's it. It could be masculine, feminine. But if you are specifying I have a boy, when I ask how many boys do you have or how many girls do you have, is it a boy or a girl? So then you would say I have one boy and one girl. But when I want to answer the question how many children, because the question it says how many children do you have? The answer could be both ways. You would specify in detail giving I have one boy, 2 girls, and if not you would say just the answer that I have 2 children. There you need not worry about the gender. There you just have to worry about singular or plural. But when you're specifying, you have to be very specific in terms of I have a boy, I have a girl. Okay. Yeah, coming back, just quickly, yes or no, if you agree or if you're okay with it. We, oh, no. We is yes. No is no. No means no. Yeah. Thanks. The next one is what. What is a very controversial subject here. So just pay close attention. Here also it is what. 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 Here also it is like, so yeah, till here it is just what. So the what takes a lot of forms. So the best one is this what, which is too long, but the pronunciation is qu'est-ce que. So it is qu'est-ce que. Qu'est-ce que. Qu'est-ce que. Can you repeat that after me? Qu'est-ce que.
Qu'est-ce que?
I'll mute you. You
Qu'est-ce
just
que?
repeat. Yeah, you repeat it. Toi-même is yourself.
Qu'est-ce que?
Okay, it's qu'est-ce que, that is what. Que is also what. That's like the short form. So always when you don't, it's too long, so you don't use that always. So qu'est-ce que is what, but you also use que. Now here, que as-tu fait? That is what have you done? Faire is done. That's a verb to do. The verb is F-A-I-R-E. It's a R-E ending verb that we didn't do. But just remember, faire means to do. We'll come back to this verbs again. As of now, you just remember that. Okay. And the next, the other way of saying qu'est-ce que, that's qu'est-ce que tu as fait.
What is fair? F-A-I-R-E? To do.
F-A-I-R-E is the infinitive form of the verb. That means to do.
Okay. And F-A-I?
I do this, I do that, I do teaching, I do swimming, I do jogging, I do drawing. So whatever whenever you use this verbs, the verb here is to do. Ka atyu fe ya mega. That means what do you do? It's a reverse form. Atyu, tu a becomes atyu. Okay. So the other way here is qu'est-ce que tu as fait? Here we are not reversing the order, because when you're using this qu'est-ce que what, you need not reverse the order. Qu'est-ce que is already, it's there. If you see, this is already in reverse. That means it's an interrogative. Already the word is interrogative form. So again, then if you put a double interrogative, it's actually a grammatical fault. So whenever you're using this qu'est-ce que, you need not invert tu as. Here you see tu is here. Here you're using tu as. That means here you're not reversing. So it's always better to be simple, is always use qu'est-ce que, what, and then you have done, or what have you, or what do you do. It's not in what do you do, it is do you do, because it's in present tense. Qu'est-ce que tu as fait or que as-tu fait? This is que as-tu fait or qu'est-ce que tu as fait? What have you done? Here it is qu'est-ce que as-tu fait? That is interrogative form, because we have reversed it. Okay, but whenever you're writing, I would suggest always use this, because you need not worry about reversing the order. This you can use it for the oral speaking. Qu'est-ce que tu as fait is a very long form. That's to reverse that. This is very short, and que as-tu fait? So it's already in a interrogative form. Que as-tu fait or qu'est-ce que tu as fait? Both means same. It's just that the writing part and the speaking part are little different. And qu'est-ce que and que, both of them means what? Qu'est-ce que tu as fait and que as-tu fait? Okay. And the next one is what here. What we will do is we will skip this part, all of this. You will not understand it right away. I'll explain that in adjective demonstrative. Now it is key. Q-U-I. Here it is que, that is Q-U-E, that is what? Key is who. Who? Who is it? Who is that? Who is your father? Who is your brother? Who is your who's your neighbor? Who's your president? Who's your prime minister? Who's your chief minister? So for all this who, you use key. That is always for a person. Key is who. Qui est qui is also who.
What is in French?
Is.
Yeah.
Sorry?
How do you say is in French?
Is. Okay. For that I need to go back a little and say, what is this? Can you tell me? Je suis is?
I am. I am.
Okay, perfect. Next one.
You are.
You are. Perfect. Next one.
He is. Okay, I got it.
Okay. So now who, what is this?
Okay, this is going to be second singular, and this is she is.
Third person. Okay, now what is
Okay,
nous
this one
sommes?
is. Nous sommes
We
is
are.
we are.
We are. Perfect. And this one is again you are.
You are.
The last one is
They are.
they are. So here is, are, am, three of them are here. So whenever you're using am, is you use je suis, and when you're using he is, it is est. So I hope you got the answer. Let us come back to this. So key is who, key is who. This is, we didn't do this, I know, but just remember key as key. Generally this is very formal, you don't use this, it is always key. Okay, and we'll also omit this because we didn't do Sela and cell C and Sela. So key here is whom. So here, if you see, key is who, here key is whom. So the difference here is key s ka is there. It's a more formal way of saying whom. If you are not sure about the person of an object, you would say whom. So key is who, ka is what, but when you say key s key is always who, key s ka is whom. Whom does it belong to? It could be an organization, it could be a person, it could be another object. And next one is, again, like the example is there, key at you, that is who have you, whom did you see? Key is whom here. That's why
Rahul,
you
key
leave
and
this.
key both are same, no? For who and whom.
Yes, key is who here and key is also whom, but the difference here is when you write it and when you see this, that is key as key is whom, key as ka is, sorry, key as key is who, key as ka is whom. Whom does it belong to? Suppose this pen is there and there is a charger. Which phone does it belong to? So whom does it belong to? Who and whom. Key as key is for a, but that when you write key as key, it is whom. When it is key as key, that is always who. So that's why both of them are written here. Key at you view is who did you see? Key as ka tu a view. Till here it is key as ka, that is whom. At you view is whom did you see? Here it is who did you see? Key at you view. Here it is whom did you see? Both of them basically are kind of same. Key and who, depending on situation, very
હું
slight
એમાં બેસ
difference.
બેટા તને વીકનેસ લાગે છે ને ઉપર બેસીને રમ અને કા આખું નીચે જ બેસી
Mega, make sure you mute yourself always, because we don't, others will not get your background voice. Okay, no issues. Yeah, I have a question here. Ki tu fait is what have you done? Qu'est-ce que tu as fait is what have you done? Yeah, both are correct. Is that meaning what have you done? What do you have done? Both of them mean same, Mega. It's just that the formation is different. When you speak, you say qui as-tu fait? What have you done? When you say qu'est-ce que tu as fait is literally when you're writing in a letter saying what have you really done? What have you done? There you don't say qui as-tu fait. So it's qu'est-ce que tu as fait? What have you done? That's more of a formal and a writing way of expressing it. Qui tu as fait or qu'est-ce que tu as fait?
Just repeat the last one alone, the difference. Uh,
You mean this
whom
one?
do you see? Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
So if you're using key at you view, that is view is to see. that means who did you see? And when I say ki, pay close attention, it is ki es que tu as vu. Whom did you see? When I say qui es qui tu as vu is who did you see? When I say qui es que tu as vu, that is whom did you see? Here the only difference here is the I and the E. If it is, sorry, hold on. Yeah, sorry for the background noise. It's qui es que and qui es qui, like a feminine and a masculine. Qui es qui es que. Qui es que is who. Qui es qui is, sorry, qui es que is whom. Qui es qui is who. And Mega, it's really not important that we can use both of them. If you reverse the order, you need not use the whole qu'est-ce que tu as fait. Qu'est-ce que is what, but if you're using qu'est-ce que, you don't reverse the order. Tu as will remain same. Like in English, when you say what have you done, your what have you is you're reversing it. You have became have you. But when you say what did you do, it's also reverse. Okay. What you have done is a more direct way. What you have done. You would say I have done this. So it's just that the implementation of the question interrogative form is there are multiple ways in English also that you can ask a question. Have you really done it? Have you done it? Have you? What did you do? All of them are basically asking what are you doing, or what have you done, or just show me what you're doing. So there are multiple ways of asking question in English also, same in French. But when you're writing it, when you write qu'est-ce que here, qu'est-ce que, you don't reverse the order. But when you're using a key, you reverse the order, that is tu a becomes a tu. Okay. So I think we are done with the time. We could not start. That took a lot of time. We would have started adjective possessive. So we'll see in the next class adjective possessive, demonstrative, the adjective demonstrative, and the adjective interrogative. In this you will come to know about quel. Quel also means what. In adjective demonstrative, see, that is ce, set and says, all of this means this. All of them means this. So this is adjective demonstrative, and then we have adjective possessive. This, all of them means my. This means your. This is possessive. When you possess something, his or her, you possess something, you use it with a possessive. This is my house, these are my children, these are my parents, these are my pen, this is my book, this is my stuff, whatever it is. Like, do you use possessive in a lot of sentences? So notre votre is our, your, and theirs. So we'll see that in the next class. This is just for you to have a idea of what we will be discussing in next session. It will be adjective possessive, adjective demonstrative, and adjective interrogative. Okay, any questions, anything? I am pausing the session here. Now, if you have any questions, that I'll answer you directly.